All right, sweet, sweet, sweet. You know, every Tuesday of the fourth Tuesday is dedicated toward thinking well. And when a lot of us think about how do we remove stress from your body, so if, you know, like today we were talking about, boy, that's really tight today. You know, why is that so tight? What do I need to do? Well, maybe one of these things is learning how to kind of meditate on your own terms. What's that mean? But we're going to get into that. But if we can get the body to start to be at a place where it's thinking that it's more at ease than dis-ease or dysfunction, then your nervous system may not be so stressed and you might not feel so tight. But this is why I talk about it. Ultimately, this is why. So why is it even worth our attention? Why do we have to retrain our brains? Well, our modern lifestyle is overstimulation. You know, the more technology there's been, the faster paced everything is, the more stress that is overwhelming our nervous system. Our nervous system is our master controller. The reason you come here to get adjusted, knowingly or unknowingly, is because I'm actually trying to make your nervous system be in tune, trying to calm it down and get your brain and body to connect and talk more efficiently. Chronic stress is typically the fact of when we are overstimulated, then our body is in chronic stress because our body's fight or flight system, which should be stimulated every so often, is chronically stimulated. And now your body's learned a pattern of chronic stimulation, of chronic stress, and chronic stress causes pain. Boy, a lot of my patients have that. Inflammation and tension. So having to reboot this means we have to retrain a lot of the chronic patterns that our brains are used to. Meditation is very simple. You don't have to pay for it. I mean, you could buy apps. We even have headsets that people can buy to try to retrain their brain faster, but it's really simple, it's accessible, and it's very powerful. You'll see some of the research that's behind this. Well, I hear more and more about brain-based treatments or brain-based chiropractic technology. Brain-body connection is the key here. When that sympathetic system, that fight or flight system, that go mode is going on, and it's overwhelmed, we need to be able to balance that out with that resting and digesting phase, which is your parasympathetic. The only way you can get into that state is by being able to calm the system down. That's what meditation does. It activates that resting and digesting state. Especially if your body's been on that go, go, go. The only way to reset that is to try to reset some of that. And breath work is it's an easy way to do that. We'll do a little exercise before we leave. So what is meditation? Probably heard a million things. I think of it as Eastern or whatever. A lot of time meditation just means being mindful. It requires silence. It doesn't require there's a lot of people who can be in a meditative state and be crazy around you. It doesn't have to be totally silent. You need incense and chanting and hours of time. It's really about being present, okay? It's about just trying to be mindfully present in those moments. A focused awareness would be the best way that we would call this. So what does meditation show us? Well, it does show that the stress hormone, so basically if you're looking at hormone production, when you're stressed, cortisol is what's increased. Cortisol is kind of the bad hormone, so to speak. It's really is useful in short bursts, but long term, it causes us to have a lot of other unwanted side effects. Most people think of it as, it just makes me gain weight. I can't get relaxed down. That's cortisol. You can be wired but tired. Research reduces cortisol. It's been shown to reduce that stress hormone. It increases brain matter of the brain. Memory, empathy, focus, all can be stimulated by just meditation. Sleep and mood regulation are improved, and your heart rate variability is basically, if you've got a smart watch, most of those probably measure something called heart rate variability, kind of a long-term measure of stress. You get like a score out of 100 usually, and that HRV, the higher it goes, the more resilient you are to stress. It basically means that your heart has a variability much more often than someone who's more stressed. It doesn't vary much. It's just always but if it varies and it changes beats very regular, you think it's bad? No, actually, an irregular, it's not like it's an irregular heartbeat. It means it's a variable, meaning it's adapting very quick. So heart rate variability can be measured just for a lot of the devices, like one I wear on my finger, things like that. It can measure that over time, and you can watch trends of your stress, all right? But that's been shown to be reduced or improved by meditation, and blood pressure, even just blood pressure itself. Obviously, that makes sense with your fight or flight, right? So a lot of people don't even get into meditation. They say, I'm not even going to go there, doc. I can't focus. I got too much going on. Those are people who need it the most, right? I've seen people, because we have you all try to lay down, and we try to stimulate some relaxation in your body before I come and give you an impulse, a reboot. You know, there's plenty of people who have a hard time laying down. Some, it's uncomfortable. We try to make that comfortable. You should always be comfortable on our tables. Know that. If you're not comfortable, then you're kind of instilling something that's the opposite of what we want, all right? So we've got to find a comfortable place place. But if it's like impossible to lay there for 3 minutes or 5 minutes, like it's like I got to grab my phone, I got to do something. You need this more than anyone. It's probably going to be the hardest to do. Just like anything in life. Like when you need to, if someone needs to be in my office, the more they need to be here, the harder it is to get here for some reason. That's just the way life is, right? So meditation is part of us trying to, how do we get our brains to be here now and be at peace? That kind of running mind is totally normal. Don't let that think that doesn't, you can't do this. Even 2 minutes of time can be positive. I mean, I think we all waste 2 minutes a day at least doing something we don't need to be doing. We could be doing this. 2 minutes. If you're into control, you're usually into perfection, which usually adds more stress to your life. But you're trying to be perfect and be in control so you have less stress. But somehow that comes around and causes more, right? Some people won't even start a practice of meditation because they're afraid they can't do it perfectly. But there's no perfect. Just try. You know, there's a statement that I look at a lot. It says, done is better than perfect. And a lot of times we do have a paralysis by analysis. Oh, but I'd have to have all this right. I don't have the right candle in the right place. It's just not, just don't do it. Then if you just don't do it, I guarantee it won't help. This is something that isn't about judging yourself with this. No one's there. This is you to be just in your space. You know, this is part of you being in your space. And meditation isn't a performance, it's a practice. We like to say a calmer spine is a calmer mind. It can go both ways, and this is one thing I want to tell you or teach you, is that a lot of times you might think, oh, it's just all in my head. My head is just going, I'm so stressed, I got all this going on, and I just need someone to zap my head. Well, sometimes you can use your body to change your brain. And so we have a calmer spine. What we mean by that is if I get you in better alignment, it's more fluid, we're resetting your nervous system, that tells the brain things are going to be okay. It's not as bad as you think. And so if we can do that often enough, your brain can start to change just from the adjustments. And I've had plenty of people that their personalities really over time change because their bodies start to get in a different spot and it changes their brain. But we want you to try to work from the top down and the bottom up too. You know, you're showing up here, that's the key. But meditation can start to adjust the mental and emotional stressors. So how do we get started? On your own terms. Again, it's going to have to fit. I mean, if it's overwhelming, you're just not going to do it. So we've got to make this seem simple, and we can add to it. Me and Dr. Braden were working out tomorrow together for the first time, and we're like, how do we set up a program that's like going to make us, you know, jacked and super healthy in one day? No. We're probably just going to move a couple of weights around, be happy we showed up. So your first time that you do meditation, maybe it's just happy that you set aside those couple moments to try. Like, I made this a time. You might not even try to meditate, but you said, okay, tomorrow I'll go sit down and maybe I'll focus. That's how we start workout programs with people. We say, get up at this hour, get outside and go back inside and do whatever. You don't even have to worry. It's just getting the routine of going there. Maybe then you walk down to the post and you come back. Meditation's going to be the same way. You would never want to start doing 20 minutes if you've never really focused for one. You need to be comfortable. Huge. You sit, you could lay down, definitely have your eyes closed. I'd really recommend that. If you, for some reason that's really hard, you have something to definitely focus on. Get very specific and try to keep your focus held on that thing. Okay, like a candle or something like that. We'll do this, but you're going to focus. If you can't focus on anything else, your brain's going, focus on your breath. That's why breath work is so huge. I love breath work because it's meditation and breathing. You're actually increasing your oxygenation. You're healing your body, so you're doing both at the same time. So Brain Tap is an app you can get. But Brain Tap is basically something I've been using years and years and years. Lena actually has a headset that goes along with that, and she's used it for a long time. But it's basically, if you're like, man, I want to be the Zen monk, and I want to be able to just do this. Well, it's hard. So there's the tones and beats that are in there, even if you just use headphones, can get you your brain waves to a deeper place a lot quicker than just on your own. You have a kind of a coach. It's like a cheat code a little bit, right? Now the headsets that do come with it actually flash in your eyes because your brain's rhythm, your brain's frequency follows the response of the light. So there's called a frequency following response. And then we actually, even part of that is an acupuncture that's done on the ears with light. So when you're wearing the headphones, you're getting the sounds and the beats and the tones, which is 60% of it, but 40% of how we get it faster is the lights and around the body. So those are some of the keys of starting. We're going to just try to be present for a moment together, and you guys at home there, I want you to do this with me. So first thing is, when you're seated, it is easy to find that comfortable seated position, but what I want you to try to start with is a good postural position. And what I want you to do is just to bring your head tall, just kind of tall. Yeah, good. Nothing crazy. I'm not fighting it, just trying to get tall. This position is where you're going to be able to get the most air in. So I want you to just take a really deep breath in this position, in that nice position. See how much you can get in. Get it all in, everything. Hold it for a second. Okay, let it out. Just let it out for a moment. Just let it out. Now, I want you to just kind of hunch down and try to take that deep breath in again, all right? You feel like it kind of stops, like you just don't get as much air in. Okay, this is why it's important to have good posture, because every breath is harder. You get less oxygen all day long by being in bad posture. So let's get in that good posture, all right? Sit tall there, not rigid, but tall. And I'm gonna have you try to slowly start to close your eyes, okay? Go ahead and just close the eyes. Try to close them if you can. Just soften your gaze if nothing else. I want you to place those hands on your knees. Palms are gonna be open or face down, whatever works. Kind of open face up is probably, that way is good. You can fold them in your lap if that's more comfortable. I want you to focus on your breath for a moment. We're gonna start to inhale. So go start to inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. I want you to hold it. 3, 2, 1. Now slowly out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, again, now let's inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's hold it. 3, 2, 1, and slowly out. 2, 3, 4. Let's just pause, don't breathe, and start to inhale again at 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 3, 2, 1, and slowly out. 2, 3, 4, and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. One deep breath in, hold it, and let it out slow. Even purse your lips. All right, try to shake out your arms a little bit. Just loosen up. You're gonna start opening your eyes up, okay? So you can repeat what we call, this is the box breathing. 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out, 4 hold. It's a box. Repeating that 3 or 4, 5 breaths like we did is a huge way to just, you did meditation. You did it. Some tips, like we talked about, I think I said this, but habit stack. This is one term we called habit stack. If you always have a certain routine in the morning, just stack this on top of it. Just another thing you do with that routine. It could be just getting a cup of coffee, brushing your teeth right before you start a meal. You can give yourself a moment and just, do a couple of the breaths before you take your meal. These are things we stack. We call that habit stacking. Use reminders. You need pattern interrupts. Just because, I'm such a good speaker and I'm amazing, you're not going to be like, he said it, so I'm just going to do it and I will never have a challenge in my life. That's not true. Benjamin Franklin said, if I tell you something, you're going to forget it. Very likely. Like, you might remember 10% of what I say, seriously, tonight. This is why we do workshops, because even if in my report I told you a lot of things, you're going to remember maybe 10%, if you're lucky. We need to be involved. Again, what I'm saying is you need to involve yourself in the process. You got to be doing it, If I tell you, you may remember. If I teach you, you might start to remember, but if you involve yourself, you're going to learn. But reminders are huge. This means maybe if you pay attention to your phone, I have too many alerts, so I don't pay attention to alerts on my phone. So I wouldn't probably set an alert to breathe, because I would just ignore it. I ignore, how many messages do I have in my text message, Victoria? 1,000, unread. All right, so I read the ones that are important. Actually, I already read them, but it doesn't matter. But I'll ignore everything that comes up on my phone. So I don't need that, right? I need something else. But maybe a sticky note, even if it doesn't say anything, you'll know what that yellow sticky note means. You'll run into it and you'll, I put it on that chair for a reason, right? So you have to use reminders. But, for me, like I do have like a little space where I have a candle. I see that every morning. It kind of reminds me of doing that. But just got to keep moving around. Maybe you get to make a little space you haven't. Oh, this is fun. I get to go use it, right? I get a new pillow. If someone's overstressed, why would someone even want an adjustment? Because the fewer tensions in the body, the better it can start to focus in. And this is it. Takes it back. What I want, my hope is, my call to action for all of you is to involve yourself in this. And maybe that means when you go home, you try to do a little reflection, just to sit there for 2 minutes or a minute and do a box breath. And then when you're done with that, I want a little piece of paper out there and you write a plan down, okay? Create a plan. Whatever you think it might be, you're gonna create something that you know is attainable, right? You can measure it, it's simple, but it has actionable items in it, it's timely. Like, I'm gonna do this for 1 week, I'm gonna do this for 2 weeks. Like, I'm gonna do it for the rest of my life. Is as much as you should. It's gonna feel like, why do it? I'll probably fail, so why start? right? So say, tomorrow, I make my plan. Tomorrow, I'm going to sit down for a cup of coffee and take 3 breaths, whatever it is. But make a plan, all right? And the other thing that can involve you, I think that's really helpful, is accountability. So if you have people you hang out with, people you see often, if there's some close people, tell them what you're doing. Because if you tell someone else, I'm going to do this, your accountability rose 100%. You know, they say that we as humans, we are really good at judging others by their actions, but us by our intentions. I intended to be a good guy, but we watch everyone's actions. So if you tell someone, you know they're watching, because you watch. So you have more accountability, even if it's just saying, I'm going to start doing that, right? Hopefully those are little things that can be helpful. All right, you guys have a good night. Take care, everybody.